Good morning. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto. Broadcasting live from Leander, Texas at 7:04 in the morning. It is January 12th, 2022, and this is episode number 386. Yep, keeping on, and I'm going along, and every single day I'm discovering something new about crypto, digging up all the crypto trash and treasures that I can find, and just kind of, walking on down the road. So this is my morning brain dump, and talk about all things crypto, and this is not a sponsored show. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not a technical analyst. I'm not a fundamental analyst. I'm just a dude with the camera talking about some crypto. And I could be right, I could be wrong. This is just morning show entertainment, and that is it. All right. So let's get over here to the old CoinGecko and see what we have going on here. Bitcoin. Hey, we're getting some green today for the first time in I don't know, was it like a week or two? Something like that. Yeah. So it's kind of refreshing to see. Yeah, it's like the weather, the sun comes out, after 2 weeks of just nothing but rain. But the rain's good for you, right? And if you never had rain, then you would never have sunshine and plants and, all the good things that come along with it. All right. So let's see here. Bitcoin, $43,334.88. Ethereum, $3,323.24. Binance Coin, $484.85. Tether, it's $1. Solana, $144.06. And we have USDC, another stable coin at $1. Cardano, $126. Cardano. How do you pronounce it? Cardano. Cardano, like you're from Boston. Or Cardano. Or same thing could be said for Solana or Solana. All right, so XRP 78 cents, Polkadot 26.71, Terra 78.10, Avalanche 96.05, and we have the doggy coin is not letting loose. It's holding on tight as Polygon drives a wedge between the two dogs. And it's interesting to see this little race happening down here between 12th, 13th, and 14th place on the market cap of CoinGecko. So I wonder if that's the same on Coin Market Cap or Coin Paprika or Coin Codex or something like that. It'd be interesting to take. Maybe I will just go ahead and I'm gonna do Coin Paprika and just see that one. The CoinPaprika.com. That's another one, and I like the silly little images. CoinGecko, Coin Paprika, Coin Codex, Coin Market Cap. Pretty serious. So let's go over here to Coin Paprika. We'll take a look at that little layout and just run a little comparison between the two real quick, because I like to do that sometimes. And here we go. It's loading up. Coin Paprika has been around for a while too. I believe one of them shows. I know CoinGecko does not really show hex with any type of rankings, and I think Coin Paprika might show it. And it shows it at like number 3 in market cap, which is interesting. That they would keep hex out. I mean, I'm not like for hex or anything. The hex community can be a little pushy and annoying at a lot of times. But I wouldn't want to exclude them, like if it's a legitimate project and I've used it, it seems to be a legitimate project. I put my money in there. I waited a while during the time limit, the lock time limit, and I pulled it out and I made some decent profit. Like it works. So I don't know what all the big hoorah about Hex not being legitimate and all this stuff. It seems fine to me. But yeah, they refuse to display it on CoinGecko. It shows it here on Coin Paprika in the 5th place. I don't know. I'm kind of like very distant from that whole debate or argument or that snobbery. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. So who knows? But this is just interesting to see. Now let's go back down here to where I was talking about with okay, so they showed Dogecoin, Polygon, then they show Binance USD as number 15, and then Shiba Inu as number 16. So let's go back over here to CoinGecko, and CoinGecko shows Dogecoin at 12, Polygon at 13, Shiba Inu at 14, and then Binance USD at 15. So interesting comparisons. And then, of course, everything's knocked down at least one because they shoved Hex in there as well to qualify Hex. So interesting. All right. I'd like to hear your thoughts on why you think some people are not including Hex in their stuff. I'm curious. I don't necessarily love Hex. I just want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. All right. Yeah. Okay, so that being said, let's move on to some other news. There's an article that I read here on the Bankless DAO, and let me pull it up here. Brick and mortar banks begin to build on chain, and this was written by Samantha Marin with the Bankless DAO, and I thought this was interesting because I hear a lot of times, there's the banks are adopting Bitcoin, and you hear like Grayscale, has added in all these other currencies as part of their I guess, I don't know, ETF type of packages, and not really ETF because you can't really do that because it's not legal. But they have funds that you can invest in that reflect the tokens like Chainlink and Ethereum and a few other non-Bitcoin tokens. But as far as that's concerned, I haven't really heard too much more about establishment banks really jumping in to something that's not Bitcoin. I mean, with the exception for Visa bought that CryptoPunk for $150,000 and put it on Visa's books. So somebody there was like a boss's son or had a lot of clout or something to be like, who had the balls to go into a conference room, while they're trying to figure out different things to experiment with and allocate. It's like, and of all things, he could have said, let's do some MakerDAO. Let's invest in MakerDAO or Aave protocol or some kind of, DeFi blue chip or something like that. But no, they go into this conference room. They're like, what would be a good idea is if we bought, as Visa, a CryptoPunk. I can just imagine all these suits, sitting there looking at this, probably young up-and-comer, buck, maybe related to one of the higher-ups. I don't know. And they're all just kind of like, oh, gosh, here we go. All right. Okay, go ahead and tell us. Yeah. Tell us, the benefit of all this. All right, okay, all right. Let's just push this through. So anyway, so they did, and it was a historic move for Visa. To put an NFT and a CryptoPunk NFT, for that matter, on their books, and I think they were one of the first established banks to do so. So it's interesting. So now we have brick and mortar banks begin to build on chain. And this is not necessarily on Bitcoin chain. So Societe Generale partners with MakerDAO in a historic move to bridge TradFi and DeFi. So I'll start reading some of this article here. TradFi is coming, but it's not coming for us. It's coming to join us. At least that's what Societe Generale, a French bank amongst the world's largest investment institutions, is doing. Societe Generale investment arm, SG Forge, is raising a $20 million loan through MakerDAO's DeFi lending protocol to refinance their on-chain covered bond issuance backed by real estate called OFH tokens. Now, all this takes me for a loop because I don't know jack squat about like bonds and real estate bonds and all that type of stuff, because that's not really within my pay grade and within my social class, to sit here and talk about real estate bonds and things like that. That's not something that I've ever had the privilege to learn about or to know about. So when I first started getting into crypto, I started learning about bonds and T-bills and things like that, and hedge funds and all this stuff that I never really. I mean, you hear 80s movies. There's the dick in the movie sitting there talking about, I got to move my hedge funds. But other than that, you don't really know anything about any of that type of stuff growing up. Or at least I didn't in my public school education and stuff like that, which is kind of a problem, I think it was Henry Ford that said it would probably be if people were taught the inner workings of the bank system through school, there would for surely be a revolution overnight or something like that. I'm obviously paraphrasing what he was saying. But yeah, I was never taught anything like that, and then I majored in Spanish in college, and then I went to seminary, and I learned ancient languages. Of course I'm not going to sit here and learn what a hedge fund is and a bond and T-bills and index funds and then calls and options and splits and puts and and perpetuals. No, man. So that's interesting that crypto has now democratized all this and provided a gateway for everybody to come in and realize the importance of all this jargon and how it's been controlling our lives all this time. And it's freaking amazing. And it's amazing that I've missed out on all this type of stuff my entire life. My parents, they're honest people, and they always wanted to make money and do the best for us. They ran a small company, a small business in America, a machine shop that produced industrial flow measurement instrumentation parts to a lot of bigger, petrochemical and oil refineries and stuff like that. And it was honest work, but they never dabbled in things like real estate bonds and index funds and stock options and stuff like that. That's just not something that was part of our household vocabulary. So anyway, this is a lot of people are coming into crypto with a fresh perspective, and I think on the other side of the token, literally, it's giving finance people a different perspective as well, to see all these people coming in and not really understanding what the hell they're talking about. And then you have programmers coming in who don't have any finance background, and you have finance people trying to learn programming, and it's everything's just been thrown up and turned on its head. So anyway, so let's see here. Okay, so Societe Generale's investment arm, SG Forge, is raising a $20 million loan through MakerDAO's DeFi lending protocol to refinance their on-chain covered bond issuance backed by real estate called OFH tokens. And I don't think that these are crypto tokens. So anyway, reading their official proposal from September 30th is like entering an alternate reality, where TradFi and DeFi aren't at odds. And TradFi is traditional finance, the big scary banks, with the pillars, the marble pillars, and the teller walls, and them sitting there deliberating behind closed doors whether or not you can have that house loan, and them digging up all your old papers from your past marriage and determining if you have the credit in order to be able to buy that home, even though you showed and you have the money. So one, we're traditional and DeFi is decentralized finance, which is everything that's happening now, like Aave and Compound and MakerDAO. And in order, basically, if you have the collateral, you can put it up. It's like a crypto pawn shop. You can put it up, and then you can borrow against your own money. Like you're supposed to be able to do, like all the rich people get to do, but we haven't been able to do so because we're not accredited investors. But DeFi is breaking down that wall that traditional finance has put up. So they've always thought that traditional finance and DeFi won't work together. Well, now they are working together, so, according to this article. So Um, so basically, what happened is Societe Generale put some of these OFH tokens that they have, which are bonds, and they used those as collateral, and they borrowed $20 million worth of DAI stable coins against those tokens for various uses and stuff like that, which I'll get into here. But this is like the first time that some kind of banking institution has borrowed against something using a DeFi institution as their place to borrow from, which is really interesting. So you might not think so, but hold on. So this $20 million DAI loan will refinance OFH tokens that SC Forge issued in 2020 on the Ethereum chain. OFH stands for Obligation de Financement de l'Habitat, or Housing Finance Bonds. These bonds are made of housing mortgages and currently owned by Societe Generale, the bank that owns SG Forge. And I always wondered, and I guess this is what happened in 2008. You sign that mortgage, and then suddenly you get your first bill in the mail after like a month or two, and then suddenly like my last house, I saw my mortgage payment. I ended up paying to like 5 different people without me doing anything because my mortgage payment kept on getting passed around to all these different companies. I bought this house that I'm in about almost 2 years ago, and it's changed names twice so far. But it's like once you sign that mortgage, that mortgage kind of gets passed around and played around with. It's like throwing it to a pack of dogs, and they're all just like, you just see the mortgage papers just flying everywhere. So anyway. These bonds are made of housing mortgages and currently owned by Societe Generale, the bank that owns SG Forge. The AAA rated bonds will mature in 2025. AAA rated bonds and are estimated to be worth 40 million euro at the peak of its maturity. They earn 0% interest. That sucks. And it doesn't suck for me. I mean, it sucks for them, but they have money. There are 350,976 mortgages in the pool that encompasses the bonds. The average value of the mortgage is 122,749 euros, and 99% of them are fixed rate. More details on the contents of the bonds can be found here, so you can go like everyone. I'm going to link this in the description. So this historic move marks the first time a major bank has ever borrowed money from a DeFi protocol. So that's pretty cool. I did some highlighting down here. Here's the little mechanisms of how all this happened. So as you can see, step one, Societe Generale has all these mortgage bonds, that they've wrapped up and bundled together, and they call it, and they have what they call these OFH tokens that represent the shares of those bonds. So that's already kind of cockamamie right there. What they did is they put it into the Forge, and then the Forge, they sent it down to MakerDAO, which is a DeFi protocol, which is basically a set of code, and they used those tokens as collateral to borrow the DAI tokens, which are stablecoin pegged to the dollar. And what was it, $20 million? Yeah. And then so they took that, and then they took the DAI to the exchange agent, and then they changed it for US dollars. And then from there, they took the US dollars and they gave it back to Societe Generale for their uses. Okay, and then they're doing their little stuff with it. They're probably going to Disneyland, Paris, or something. I don't know. Then now, when they want to cash out in 5-10 years after maturity, basically they're taking that USD back to the Forge. All right, and then the Forge is going to go take that USD and put it into the exchange agent, and then swap it around back to the DAI, and then the DAI is going to go back to the Forge. And then the Forge is going to put that DAI and pay back that loan to MakerDAO, the DeFi protocol. MakerDAO is going to give those OFH tokens back to the Forge. And then the Forge is going to give those OFH tokens back to Societe Generale. So that's how all that winds up and unwinds. And that is, that's the process. And, it's pretty interesting stuff. So down here, it's kind of explaining it. So someone's home mortgage was sold to a bank, right? Okay. That happens all the time. You don't know what's going on with your mortgage a lot of times whenever you're just making your monthly payment. Sometimes I pay a little over too. Maybe I'll pay that down by adding $20 a month. I said, no, it's not going to happen, but I still do it anyway sometimes. So someone's home mortgage was sold to a bank. That bank bundled several similar loans into a bond. Then that bond made its way on chain into a token that represented the underlying bond security, the OFH. Then that token ended up in MakerDAO's vault, which issued DAI to SG Forge in return. SG Forge swapped that DAI for USD by using an exchange agent. That exchange agent swaps with other people who end up with the DAI. So that person holding DAI is holding DAI that is backed, among other assets, by a fraction of those tokenized bonds. If you think about it hard enough, that DAI is a representation of a bundle of real-world things that ended up on chain. And that's pretty incredible. So I guess for the first time from an institutional level, like somebody big, like Societe Generale, real-world houses are now, for the first time, on chain through such an intermediary like a bank, so a traditional finance bank. So pretty interesting. So even though MakerDAO is so reputable that on its way to becoming the de facto stablecoin choice in the Ethereum ecosystem, it has a few hurdles to jump before and execute a deal with the third largest bank in France. To combat this, Societe Generale is using SG Forge, a maker representative paired with a security agent and a separate exchange agent, all to make the deal viable. This raises the question, if MakerDAO has to jump through so many hoops, will other DeFi protocols and DAOs do the same? But if the deal goes well, MakerDAO could set a new precedent of DAOs working with traditional banks. The entire landscape of TradFi and DeFi could change for the better. So yeah, it's kind of a cup half full outlook on it. All the people writing the protocols, everybody's kind of getting stiffies over this. This is pretty interesting stuff. It's pretty bullish. The real world asset strategy is acting as the medium for Maker and the Maker and the Ethereum ecosystem to increase its impact on a global scale and for traditional finance to innovate, said Nadia Alvarez, head of growth MakerDAO. It has given us the opportunity to create new financial services, mixing the best of both worlds. All right. Okay. Well, if TradFi players are wary of crypto, they're downright terrified of DeFi. And any company that touches fiat currency, no matter how decentralized it aims to be, must be highly regulated. This built barriers between TradFi and DeFi, so they operate in two entirely different worlds. The vocabulary in which DeFi is discussed, on-ramp, off-ramp, to the moon, stuff like that, gives it an otherworldly feel, while TradFi is firmly mired in brick and mortar here on Earth. So, could Societe Generale be the bank that takes the rocket ship to join DeFi on the moon? One could easily imagine banks accepting DAI as collateral on a mortgage and Zillow generating a Web3 wallet plugin for the real estate market. Yeah, that would be interesting, Zillow kind of pre-qualifying you based on your digital ID. And I've already said, like you can plug in you should be able to plug in your wallet on LinkedIn, so they can see what projects you've worked on via your POAP NFTs and stuff like that. I don't know. So interesting stuff to think about. I was going to sit here and take a deeper dive into Boba Network today. But I'm kind of running short on time. I have like 7 minutes or 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. And I wanted to spend a little more time talking about Boba Network and OMG and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to pass on that, so I'm not rushing through. I want to do Boba Network some justice. I tend to ramble quite a bit, and Oh, here's a little Twitter post from Lark Davis. Actually, I like Lark. Of all the YouTubers that I started out listening to, I started listening to. When I first got into crypto, I started listening. The first one was Digital Asset News. Rob over there, that guy has taught me so much. Dan Teaches Crypto, I believe, is his website that he built. I had already kind of moved on by the time he built that website. But for newbies coming in, that's a free website and it's safe for anybody wanting to learn the ropes of just like some of the basics of cryptocurrency. So danteachescrypto.com, you should check that out. So Lark Davis was another one that I watched quite a bit. I haven't watched YouTubers in quite a while because I'm too busy creating my own stuff now. So that, and then I watched Chico Crypto. And who else? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I used to watch Bearable Bull every single day, every single morning. XRP, because I thought his messages, his doomy messages and stuff like that, were very interesting, and it is very entertaining for sure. So admit it, you watched the old Bearable Bull. My wife one time, it was during the lockdown actually, and so we were all like locked in the house and everything like that. And I was playing Bearable Bull and I was kind of doing some jump rope, like listening to it because I was trying to keep fit. And Bearable Bulls, they're XRP is going to explode and you won't even know it, and you will have the time of your life. But at first, if you are not in it, the way he talks, it's just this monotone. Like, my wife looked at me, she's like, what is this cultish crap you're listening to? Oh, man. Anyway, I don't know how I got on that. I like Chico Crypto, Lark Davis, Digital Asset News. I like The Modern Investor. That dude is awesome, man. He's hilarious. I like the way he talks. He's a Bitcoin guy, so he mainly talks about Bitcoin and like a lot of larger institutions adopting it. But he also gets really into art as well. So yeah, TMI, The Modern Investor. So look up that one. All right, man. That puts me, about 4.5 minutes left. But I'm just going to go ahead and put a plug in it. And then tomorrow I will be talking about Boba Network. And I have an OMG network as well, because OMG and Boba are tied hand in hand. And Boba Network is a layer 2. I kind of touched on it yesterday, but I started digging in more because I wanted to see more about the ecosystem and what it's available on there, because that's really important. Because if you have an amazing layer 2 solution, but you don't really have any type of ecosystem inside that layer 2 solution, and there's nothing really to do except for just getting your jollies off, bridging back and forth between there and not really doing anything with your tokens. That's kind of important. All right, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, later. Oh, it's gonna be early tomorrow too, because I actually need to get up and go down to my brick and mortar job. So all right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.